Chris Evans might cut ties with Tom Brady for Trump support, willing to alienate fans. I really hope he's not a Trump supporter. In my opinion, Chris Evans deserves to be dragged to the same degree Brie Larson gets dragged for her comments. And he's lucky that Avengers is a really well done movie. But more importantly, Avengers didn't put his anti-Trump rhetoric and his politics front and center in marketing these movies, whereas they did, with Captain Marvel, calling it a big feminist film and all that stuff. But Chris Evans doesn't get any special treatment, at least not from me. And so with this, we're going to criticize Mr. Evans. But first, I want to tell you something. You know, one of the greatest things, the greatest feelings I get with this channel is that, I kid you not, I have probably made, out of the 1,000 videos I have on this channel, because I'm doing like 5 per day now, probably like 50 to 100 include me ranting about what I don't like about Donald Trump. And being kind of like rational and reasonable and giving real reasons why Donald Trump gives me the like negative feelings. And you know what's funny? Overwhelmingly liked videos. Thumbs up, Trump supporters saying, I hear you, I disagree. And I'm like, isn't that amazing that I actually have friends who are Trump supporters and I can sit down and not alienate them while disagreeing with them and trying to have a debate over why some things should or shouldn't be? How hard is that? It's amazing that if you try to exist in this space, you're the bad guy. You're the evil person. That's what the social justice activists and the regressive left want to do. There are a lot of good people, don't get me wrong, on the left who are willing to have the debate and the conversation with Trump supporters and recognize just because you support the president, you have a different opinion, doesn't mean I'm going to try to alienate you. In fact, to the contrary, I'm trying to communicate with you. I'm trying to pull people back together. And it's not necessarily meant to say you shouldn't be allowed to have your ideas, but that we should be willing to communicate and we should be willing to live together. Here's the thing about Chris Evans in Avengers and how he wants to, he's willing to alienate fans. Well, this is a story from the Hollywood Reporter. He wants to do like some news website, some political website. Here's the thing. When we're talking politics and we're in the arena, I get it. Things get heated. But there's got to be, like, Avengers should be Switzerland. You know what I mean? Captain Marvel should have been Switzerland. What I mean by that is we should be willing to say when we argue politics, we're talking about certain things, and we're willing to go and watch a movie, even if it's got politics in it, without you smashing it into someone's face. Chris Evans, I think, is actually worse in terms of politically being nasty, and Mark Ruffalo, too. They're really nasty people online. But they don't put that in the movies. They don't do a commercial where it's like Chris Evans goes like, oh, no, a Trump supporter. Because I'd be like, whoa, what are you doing? I want to watch Captain America punch a Nazi in the face. You know, I want to have movies where I can watch him take a futuristic cyber weapon and defeat Hydra, right? I don't want to be preached to politically. By all means, I have respect for them for standing up and speaking their mind, of course. In the instance of Captain Marvel, they smashed that into the movie. I don't like that, okay? Please no, leave that separate. Let's go in the political arena. Let's get our hands dirty. Let's make ourselves upset, and push for what we believe in, like everyone gets angry. And then we can come back, we can sit back, eat some popcorn, have a smile, and watch Avengers Endgame, which I'm going to thoroughly enjoy. But that doesn't mean Chris Evans gets to say the things he does without some criticism. Captain America, in quotes, may cut ties with America's most patriotic football team simply because the quarterback supported President Trump. Now, I wonder how much of this from the Daily Wire is hyperbolic, but we'll read. Speaking with the Hollywood Reporter on Wednesday, actor Chris Evans said that if Tom Brady is a persistent Trump supporter, then he may have to call it quits with Brady. I really hope he's not a Trump supporter, Evans told Hollywood Reporter. I'm just hoping he's one of those guys that maybe supported him now and regrets it. Maybe he thought it was going to be different, and even that bothers me. But maybe there's a chance now he just thinks Trump's an absolute dumb shit, which he is. If he doesn't, if he's still on the Trump train, I might have to cut ties. It's really tough. Here's the thing. I have friends who are diehard Trump supporters. The last thing you'd want to do is cut ties with them. They say that we're the summation of the 5 people who surround us. The best thing you can do as a social justice activist is befriend as many Trump supporters as possible. Daryl Davis, my God, that dude is on my top 5 list of inspirations. I think his name's Dale Davis, which says a lot about how much I should know. I'm pretty sure he's like a jazz musician, and he befriended Klan members and de-radicalized them. And that brings a tear to my eye. The inspiration, the willingness to challenge these ideas and show that we have so much more in common and we can live together. And it's amazing when you hear the stories about former Klan members who gave their robes to Daryl. They said, here you go, I'm out. He inspired them. That's incredibly heartwarming. And so I don't even know if I could go to the lengths that he did, but I can be friends with Trump supporters. It's like half the country, regular Americans. And I try to understand and empathize. And by being friends, they can understand and empathize with me. Isn't that crazy? It's crazy that I can come on this channel. I just try to be rational. I try to be honest. And then when I break off into a tangent where I'm like, oh, I don't like Trump, people go like, I feel you, buddy. I disagree with you, but I feel you. I'm like, yeah, it feels good. It feels good to have, Trump supporters. Like I was at playing games with some Trump supporters. Like basically it was like 5 other people who are all Trump supporters. I'm the one there who's just like, nah, you're never going to get me to say it. Never. Because of the war stuff, because of the bombing, because of the missile strikes, which they're critical of too. I get it, but that puts me off too much. And I don't like his attitude. There's a lot of things about him. Don't get me wrong. It's not like Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi and the Russiagate people get any special credit from me. No, they're worse, right? But I can sit there and be like, no. And they go, well, because we're normal people. One of my favorite stories is that someone tried accusing me of being like alt-right adjacent or whatever. And I said, that's absolutely ridiculous. My family history, all that. And they said, if you're not, then why are you friends with Cassandra Fairbanks? First of all, Cassandra is just a Trump supporter, and she's not even the most conservative. She gets a lot of flack for supporting people on the left. And I said, because mature adults can disagree politically and still be friends, right? And so when you hear a story about Chris Evans, like this is kind of extreme and really weird to me. It's like how removed from society do you have to be like a great football player likes Donald Trump, therefore I'm going to have to consider cutting ties with him. What? No, go hang out with him, have a beer, have a conversation, try and convince him. It's so insane. According to HuffPost, the Boston native has long been a New England Patriots fan and is one of the fiercest promoters of it on social media. While Evans loves the team, he has never met Tom Brady and doesn't have any plans to. Though Brady admitted his Trump support in 2015, which was followed by an endorsement from coach Bill Belichick on the eve of the 2016 election, Brady's open support of the president has wavered throughout Trump's White House tenure. During the NFL national anthem kneeling controversy, Brady openly distanced himself from President Trump's criticisms of the kneelers. I respect why people are doing what they're doing, and they're doing it for different reasons, and that's okay. Free speech. I agree with that. Brady told Oprah in 2018, you can do things for your reason. They can do things for their reason, and you have respect for that, but I thought it was great. I've been playing sports long enough to know everyone comes from something different, and I think showing respect for everybody in a locker room with a team of guys trying to go in the same direction, you better have that empathy for everybody. That's what sports are about. Mind-blowing. What Tom Brady says. I respect them for doing things for their reason. What does Chris Evans say? I'm going to have to cut ties with you because you said those words. Now, the Daily Wire likes to act like that's him breaking for Trump. I don't think so. I think Tom Brady, is saying basically what I just said. You know what? I recognize why people hold these views. I try to empathize with them. And hopefully through my being friends with them and being willing to have a conversation and being a mature adult, I can maybe change some minds. I can maybe learn something myself. It's a give and take, We're trying to all live together, and you can't just cut people out. That leads to extreme tribalism and violence and just really terrible things. Tom Brady here says right now, I think it's great. Like I said in the beginning, I have tremendous respect for Mark Ruffalo and Chris Evans speaking their mind, and it doesn't come without risk. I disagree with them. I think they're doing it the wrong way, but I respect people who are willing to stand up for what they believe in within reason. Sometimes people are crazy, and not all ideas are good ideas. In 2017, Brady outright called President Trump's rhetoric regarding the national anthem kneelers divisive. But he's not wrong. You can still be a Trump supporter and be critical of him. There are a lot of, in fact, the only Trump supporters I'm actually friends with openly criticize Trump for the things they don't like. They just tend to support him more often. I think everyone has a right to do whatever they want to do. If you don't agree, that's fine. You can voice your disagreement. I think that is great. It's part of our democracy. As long as it's done in a peaceful, respectful way, that is what our country has always been about. I'm clapping. Yes, 100% agree. I know that I could probably sit down with the guy and we could have a long conversation about our disagreements over the president. But at the end of it, we're going to shake hands and be like, this is good talk, good conversation. We figure out how to come together. In the same interview with Ali reporter, Evans said that he would willingly alienate half of his audience if it means criticizing President Trump. You don't want to alienate half of your audience, he said, but I'd be disappointed in myself if I didn't speak up. I absolutely respect that. I do. That he's willing to say, I got to say something. Absolutely. Especially for fear of some monetary repercussion or career damage. That just feels really gross to me. Absolutely agree. 100%. Except you shouldn't alienate your audience. I respect you for speaking up when you know there's a risk, but you should be doing everything to unite your audience. That doesn't mean you have to praise the president. That's and what's really crazy is it seems to only come from the regressive left. I can go to a diehard Trump supporter and say, I disagree. And he'll laugh and call me a libtard and we'll sit there and talk. I can go to like one of these people on the regressive leftists or Antifa and I say disagree and they'll start screaming Nazi and fascist. Dude, a lot of people like to claim that that's me being biased. Listen, man, I do have friends on the left. They're scared to be in selfies with me. Not because I'm conservative, because they don't want to be in selfies with many people. They mostly just take pictures of themselves now because of association and fears that somewhere down the line they're going to get in trouble. So they're scared to speak up. They tell me in private, man, these people are crazy. What's happening? But they know if they come out and talk, they could lose their jobs. Conservatives are already on the back end of that, so they're like, whatever. It's easy. But you know what? I'll say it one more time. Well, we'll finish off. Evans, wishing to sever himself from Trump supporters to the point of alienating half his audience, follows the actor coming under criticism earlier this month from progressive trolls for daring to meet with conservative Congressman Dan Crenshaw. And here's where I'm going to throw some praise towards Chris Evans. As part of the story, I was a lot angrier before I started recording this. I was like, come on, like, I was kind of pissed. But apparently Chris Evans, it's in the story, he's actually met with several Republicans for a project he's working on. And I was like, you know what, man? You know what? I saw some of the things he said. I think it's bad to try and alienate your audience. I think you can be respectful and disagree with the president and be critical of him to an extreme degree, even without insulting the Trump supporters themselves. So I'm critical, but I think he's trying. And I think he's trying in his own way. I'm not saying he's doing a good job, but he did meet with Republicans, and I was impressed by that. That shows good faith effort on his part. I wish he wouldn't. I wish he was more of a uniter. It is. Ultimately, here's what I'm going to end with. Look, if he wants to switch to directing and do a political site, and he's very active in politics, that kind of makes me feel bad because Chris Evans is a good Captain America. He's a good actor. He said he's not retiring. I just think it's silly that he's going to walk away from his talent to pursue politics because he's being radicalized by this extreme rhetoric. It bums me out. It does. Politics should not be like, man, we should be in a country where we all recognize culture and our talents and our passions. They come first and politics should come later, but things have gotten so crazy. It's just, but you know what? I'll leave it there. Stick around. I got a couple more videos coming up in a few minutes. I will see you soon.